Okay, it's Sunday and I totally did not start the first book for this vlog yesterday and forgot to do the intro because I'm hilarious. I decided for fun to read a bunch of my favorites from senior year of high school. So the first one that I'll bring up, I'm gonna do the order of what I think I read them in, and then I'll tell you which one I'm reading. The first one I read in 2016, and in 2016, right? At the beginning of the school year. Yes, getting this out on my shelf right there popped my thumb and it hurt. But it's Pride and Prejudice. I do have a version that's just Pride and Prejudice, not 6 books total. But this is the one that's up here. Yeah, I mean, I think it was around the third time that I had watched the Joe Wright version of the movie when I read the book, and I decided to read the book. Now I've watched it 13 times this year, so it seems fitting for me to read it. So yeah, that's that. Gonna reread that. The second one is My Heart and Other Black Holes, I believe, which is a YA contemporary about two teenagers who have gone through some very traumatic stuff recently and decide living is not what they want to do anymore. That's a nice way of saying it. It is very sad. That is the one that I started yesterday. I got to, I think, around 26% yesterday. It's very fast. Like, I have just been reading every once in a while on my phone today, and I've already read like 10% more. So, like, yeah, it's a fast book. I like it so far. I mean, it's sad, but it's good, right? The benefit of me reading it as a library book, well, all three of these were library books physically, but as an ebook this time is that I can highlight it and I'll have my highlights, so that's fun. And then the last one is Faithful by Alice Hoffman, which is the first Alice Hoffman I've ever read. I love the cover, gorgeous, by the way. I have it as an audiobook, which will be interesting. I couldn't get it as an ebook, okay? And I'm sad about that, but it's whatever. This one is also about a girl when she's a teenager, she goes through something traumatic. And she has a mental break, and it's very much the story of her life after that moment, and just trying to live. And the difference between surviving and living, very similar to My Heart for Black Holes. Both of those very similar. In that aspect, it's just that one's more adult and this one's more YA, right? I love how I was reading both of those in high school. Why? Love that for me. But yeah, that's what's happening. I will probably update you when I finish My Heart and Other Black Holes. I think all three of them are labeled as 4 stars on Goodreads right now, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if all of them at least up to 4.5, right? Did I stop recording then instantly realize I never really talked about why I'm reading any of these? No. And that is code for yes. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Is there a reason for these? Yes. For 2 of these. Specifically, I have been wanting to read Pride and Prejudice again this year anyways. It was like part of my 23 and 2023. And I've already read a Jane Austen this year, so I was gonna mark it off with that because I just said Jane Austen, but preferably Pride and Prejudice. But like, I mean, how am I not supposed to reread it, right? Get a classic out of the way, good times. And then My Heart and Other Black Holes, I got Stingray to read it earlier this year because it gave me such them vibes. And so there's like an aspect where I want to reread it so that we could like record an episode on it and have it so like if something happens, like I don't read an erotica because it's so bad again, that can go up instead because our previous version of that was used. So like there's that. And also I wanted to reread it, like I wanted to. And then Faithful is just because I constantly think about it. Like I won't be surprised if I think about it more than once a week. Like it's a thing that I just think about, that I really want to reread for a while. And so I'm like, if I'm already rereading or wanting to reread or should reread, two books that I happen to also read a senior year. Myself, let's just throw that one in and make a theme vlog, right? Like, that's how it's done here. But yeah, that's that. I just remembered how tiny the text size in this Pride and Prejudice, or Jane Austen is. We love size 2 font. Anyways, I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna do this fast because I'm in the middle of rewatching Grey's Anatomy, but it's the next day. I finished By Heart Another Black Hole. It's actually at like 12:24 in the morning or something. I don't know. I labeled it as read yesterday, right? Or finished yesterday. And I'm going with 4.25 stars. As soon as I said yesterday that I was going to probably up all them at least 4.5, I knew I should have said 4.25 instead of 4.5, but that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I just have like little issues here and there. Like, why did her dad have legal custody of her, and why did her mom, like, I'm supposed to believe that her mom cares deeply about her, but like her father's mental issues were a thing before, when they were together, where he would have mood swings and whatnot, and she could notice that like her daughter was very lonely and was having issues, and she decided to leave her firstborn with a man like that, like a man who would punch walls, and remarry, and like it felt a little icky with that aspect. And then, but I'm supposed to like believe that, and also the fact that like as soon as the main characters kiss in this book, it's like, ooh, no longer have mental illness, or at least for her. And then it was very quickly into like love language, like literally 3 days after they kissed, she's like, I love you, you can't die on me, you can't choose to die, you need to choose to live for you but also for me. And I was just like, so really it's mostly just the last maybe quarter I have a little bit of issue with, and then just like without one issue on why her mother. I also thought it weird that like in general the father would get custody, right? Like, it just felt weird, in general, but whatever. And some other character little stuff I had issues with, but I get why they were like that. But yeah, 4.25 stars. I still like it. It's gonna be a podcast episode now, so like, that's a fun time. Should probably record that soon. You know, that thing. The next one I probably I'm gonna read is Faithful, because I have the audiobook. It's like 8-ish hours. I haven't like opened it to actually see how long it is, but according to Libby on the homepage thing, it says 8 hours, so we'll see. I can do that in like under 3 hours, so easy peasy. And yeah, and then I can spend the rest of the week getting through Pride and Prejudice, because that one in theory should take me longer, but I read Northanger Abbey in 2 days accidentally. I was expecting it for me to take a week, and I read that in 2 days. So like, I think I'll be fine. But yeah, that's the update. Don't you love how much I'm not setting up my camera recently? Ignore the sounds of my computer fan. Of course, that turned on as soon as I started to press record. And the dishwasher down below, it's louder than I think they can hear in China. Like, let's be real, it's so loud. So loud. But yeah, that's the thing that's happening right now, which is also why my hair is still a mess. I was gonna wash it, but the dishwasher is going, and you can't do the two at the same time because our hot water heater doesn't work. It's fine, everything's fine, nothing's falling apart in this house. But update, I got to 53% of the way through Faithful. I was planning to read all of it last night. It's like Thursday now. I was planning to read all of it, but then I just like kept on pushing off picking it up, which I'm mad at myself for, because I picked it up and then it like was 11:37 at night when I read the amount that I least needed to, and I went, no, I want to read more. But I went to bed, and I'm gonna finish it today and then start Pride and Prejudice, so good times. But yeah, that's the update. I started it, told Stingray stuff about it, so maybe they'll read it, because it definitely gives me them vibes, let's be real. It is sad, it is heartbreaking, it is beautiful, and I love it. Also, I thought I had rated it 4 stars originally, but apparently it's set at 5 stars, so fun fact. I'll probably keep it there, let's be real. I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna watch some YouTube real quick. And then I'll like heat up some pizza and have that for lunch while I listen to the rest of the audiobook. It's like an hour and 20 minutes of me reading because I read audiobooks super fast. So it's not that bad. It's fine. Um oh, thank you. As soon as I am about to stop recording is when my computer fan turns off. But yeah, that's the update, I guess. I should clean my camera. This angle is classy. It's just beautiful, gorgeous. You're sitting on my copy of Pride and Prejudice, which is an issue because I'm currently reading it. I'm not that far into it. I'm like only like 20 pages in. But I finished Faithful. It's the same thing. Finished Faithful, keeping it at 5 stars. I cried. I loved it. So Ray needs to read it ASAP. I don't know what to say. Have I really said what any of these books are? No. I don't think so. This one follows Shelby, who when she's 17, is driving a car and gets in a car accident with her best friend. At the time, her best friend isn't wearing a seatbelt and she's like sitting in the seat weird. So she ends up getting crushed by the car, and is brain dead, right? She dies for like 7 minutes, and when they bring her back, she's like brain dead, and so she blames herself, and it's a lot of her dealing with that survivor's guilt and the depression and whatnot after the fact, and just trying to survive after that for a good chunk of the book. And then after a bit, it's her learning that surviving isn't all there is. There's also this idea of living through other people, and through rescuing dogs and all this stuff, and just becoming a person again, almost, and it's just so good. It's so good. 5 stars. Okay. Anyways, I did math at Pride and Prejudice, but Darcy, his yearly income, if you transfer it to American dollars and then do the math of inflation, is over $233,000 a year. If you do it from the year that it was published, which is 1813, but I knew it was like written before that, so like it could be higher. Good God. Anyways, he just called Elizabeth pretty in his own mind. He finds her pretty now. And I'm only like 20 pages in. Ignore the fact that I'm half laying down. This is the day that this video is supposed to go up at like 5:30. I have about 50 pages in this version, which is like 100 pages of a normal book left in Pride and Prejudice. I'm planning to finish it tonight, so technically this will go up today. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Lydia has run away. That's the drama that's going on right now. Me knowing that Darcy's gonna show back up, just waiting. I do like how in the book there's like more space to show Darcy and Elizabeth's connection, and like they get to be around each other more in general, or at least we get to see that. Because actually I think it's like the same amount of time passes between the movie and the book, but like in this we get to see more of that time, and how they interact, so that's fun. And good times out. I'm gonna go, but yes, I got to the point last night where he proposed the first time, and then she said no, and he wrote her a letter that is about 10 pages long, explaining why he broke up Jane and Bingley, and why he is no longer friends with the Wickham, despite the fact of the family connection and whatnot. So, yeah, I think I got about that far, finished that chapter, and maybe another chapter, and then I stopped last night. So, I think the last time I was here was more of the stuff in the corner was the 24-hour vlog, the last one. Oh no. It is the next day. This video is going up a day late. It's fine. I figured that out at around like 10 when I still had like 20 pages left of Pride and Prejudice. But I finished it around 10:50. Upped my rating to 5 stars for obvious reasons. It's fun as a person who has seen the Joe Wright version about a dozen times this year, what things he changed, and like very clearly being able to tell why, but also like things that he purposely kept, even if like he heavily changed the scenes. Most specifically I can think of are the 2 proposals by Darcy. He changed the locations and how they come about and whatnot. So like, despite the fact that he changed those a lot to like make it more sense for film, he also happened to keep a lot of the direct lines of dialogue exactly the same, which was fun, knowing that officially, because it's been 7 years since I read this. It's been since around this time, 2016, since I read this bad boy. And it's good soup. Like, already was surprised I upped it to 5 stars. No, we shouldn't be. Thank you very much. It's good. I do like how at the end we do get to see a little bit of like after the marriage of like how the relationship with other people goes, especially with like Lydia and Wickham, especially since like the closest thing that Darcy has to an arch nemesis is Wickham. And he's married to his wife's sister. Why am I talking out downstairs? So, you know, yeah, like I like that. Which made I've noticed that a lot of Jane Austen's books are just sudden endings to me. And this one was less so. I mean, still slightly, but less so. So I don't mind it as much. Like in the same chapter they get married, we're also learning all this like in a page and a half, all this other stuff about all these other characters after the fact. The end. Bye. So like sudden, but like I don't mind it because we learn a little bit in that suddenness. And then it's the one that, as far as the 3 that I've read, that does the least. We're ignoring my dog barking heavily. So now I've read half of this, a chunker, okay? Like, because I've read Sense and Sensibility, I want to say in 2021. I read Pride and Prejudice and Northanger Abbey this year, and I already have a plan to read Emma next year. So, progress. We're getting through it. I'm very happy. And whatnot. Also, technically, it was part of my 23 and 2023. I said specifically Pride and Prejudice, but Jane Austen in general. Like, I want to reread it, but like, if I read any Jane Austen, it'd be fine. And so technically I labeled it as done with Northanger Abbey, but it's fine. It's fine. But general rundown of all the books, I guess, at the end, because that's the thing that I occasionally do. Can you tell everyone's home today with all the noise in the background? No, because I cut it out. So, My Heart and Other Black Holes was 4.25 stars, upped it from 4 to 4.25. I do talk heavily about my issues with it in a podcast episode because that happened right after I finished it, so that will be up above in the cards. But most of my issues have to do with the feeling that as soon as like she kisses Roman, suddenly her depression is cured. It's like a slight feeling I had. And then also a lot of issues with just not the book, but just society and the judicial system, especially when it comes to people of color. And Azelle, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, father, whatnot. But yes, I upped it to 4.25. Still really like it. Faithful, 5 stars. The audiobook was surprisingly good. I was worried when I picked up the audiobook, so of course all 3 of these when I first read them was physical books from my high school, right? And so I read it in my brain, like in my voice, and whatnot, when I read it the first time. So like I was worried in picking it back up, being as the only way I could get it as audiobook, that the audiobook wouldn't do it justice the way that I imagined it in my head. That should not have been an issue. It was great. The narrator did a good job. I really liked it. All around, just a good time. I thought it was at 4 stars, but apparently it was at 5 stars the whole time. So, still there. I still love it. And yeah, and then the And last one, of course, is Pride and Prejudice. I mean, honestly, do we expect me to say anything other than I love it? Okay, right? Fun fact, me upping it to 5 stars has now made it so I have 40 books total that I've rated 5 stars in my whole entire life. We love that for me. There's hair on me. Oh my god, dogs. I'm sitting on the ground. That's the reason. But yeah, that's everything. Everything should be linked below. Again, that podcast episode up above in the cards. And I'm gonna go edit this like right now because I want it up within the next hours.